Who sets the bar on what you can achieve? Is it someone other than you? We don't know what we're capable of until we try. Persistently becoming. That's our topic on this episode of the Educators Among Us podcast.
Welcome to the Educators Among Us podcast, where we share motivational messages and inspiring stories for and about educators. Your host, Scott Barron, is author of the critically acclaimed book, Love 'Em and Lead 'Em, and provides powerful insights and wisdom for those who heed the call to teach, coach, lead, and serve at all levels of education.
This is Scott Barron, and I'm honored to be your host for the Educators Among Us podcast. We love providing insights, encouragement, perspective for those who serve in all levels, all types, all kinds, all locations, everything around schools. It's an exciting endeavor. It's a privilege. It's a calling. And we understand how important it is to honor that calling, to take it seriously, but also to find some joy in it as well. Finding that balance, because we know that leading and working in schools is an ever changing environment. It involves working with people, which involves conflict, and it involves the communication and negotiations and just all the things that come with being with people. And so we're honored that you take that seriously, that you want to be a part of the journey of other people, because you have a big influence, you have a power. And so that's what we try to do with the Educators Among Us podcast, is to remind ourselves of that, and also to provide some perspective and some tools maybe to enhance that journey for you. We're always becoming, we're always trying to figure it out. And as we experience some seasons of the year, for many, this is an in-between season. It's the middle of June, and so much is happening. And I just got back from speaking at a conference in Georgia, and just finished one of the most intense travel schedules of my life, being all over the world and being able to speak into the lives of educators. And it's just been truly an honor. And Tammy and I have been blessed by all the different conversations and the things that we've learned, because we're becoming too. I mean, we're becoming, right? And when you start becoming, when you start changing, inevitably you get some questions, right? People say, well, hey, what's gotten into you? What you've changed. I didn't even know you could do that. Right? And I hope that you will see that as a real affirmation of your growth and your leadership. Because if they're not, we might have gotten stagnant. We might have kind of found a rut, and would encourage you to maybe think about where we need to be becoming. We need to be finding ways of growing, because we know from Wilma Rudolph, she says, hey, never underestimate the power of dreams and the influence of the human spirit. We are all the same in this notion. The potential of greatness lives within each of us. That potential, right? The potential of greatness, the potential for greatness, right? Hey, listen, one of the things that I have definitely learned in my journey, from the wisdom and the experience of decades of leadership in different forms, but especially in educational leadership, one thing has become crystal clear. I mean, just it's unavoidable. And that is this: I am clueless. I am clueless about what other people are capable of doing and becoming. Right? It's just, there's so much overconfidence. It taints the lens through which we all see colleagues and students and parents and even family and friends, right? Because if we're honest with ourselves, right, truthfully, most of our prophecies of their future are false, right? I mean, we don't even know what we don't know about what's possible. So judging the potential of others is far above our pay grade. It draws us in to then relying excessively on imagination that usually negatively views their gifts, their intelligences, and their possibilities. We don't know what we don't know. And so we have to fill in the blanks. And in general, we don't get it right. We don't even know what's possible. We see through such a small part of the bigger perspective. Right? So it's like Jim Rohn once said, hey, better is not something you wish. It's something you become. Right? You don't improve yourself, improve your life, improve the journey of others generally by accident. You don't just wish it, man, I just wish, right? It actually becomes something that we get persistent about, that we accept as a challenge, right? Because too often, way too often, the expectations of others, they keep many of us from becoming what we could be, right? We get worried about what are they going to think? How, is it going to make them uncomfortable? We sometimes allow the boundaries that other people put on us to limit what we can become. They want to kind of draw us back. And that's a shame. That's a shame. And it's quite unbecoming of those who have the gift and the power to teach and to educate. When we using that influence to limit others, that's a problem. And of course, what makes the human spirit unique among all of creation, what makes the human spirit unique is that ability to remarkably reinvent ourselves, right? To dream of becoming something more, something better, something else, right? Sometimes it's just, hey, I don't want to stay here. I got to get somewhere else. That is sometimes the motivation. And hey, listen, we have that ability. That's what makes the human spirit so special. That's what Norma Rudolph was talking about. We all have that within us. We can become, right? Living is becoming. Living is becoming. And listen, we don't know what's possible until we try it. Listen, and we're probably going to fail at it. It's very likely. And we're going to make adjustments. And then we're going to do what? We're going to try again. And we're going to continue that cycle until a breakthrough occurs, until we win, until we figure it out. That's the cool thing about how special that we are. We've got that gift, right? And we have to be careful because sometimes we get arrogant, right? And we begin to impose our perspective on others. Hey, as Paul said in Philippians 2:3, do nothing out of selfish ambition. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves. See them through their possibilities. See them through what they can be versus through their past. And that requires a discipline. Sometimes it requires letting it go, getting over it, forgiving, changing ourselves. Sometimes they're changing, but we're not allowing ourselves to see that, right? But that's the adventure. That's the adventure of becoming. It's exhilarating. It gets energy, right? Because with every day brings new challenges through which we can learn. We can learn more. We can do more, and we can grow beyond what could be expected, what was previously expected. And that's the joy of discovery, of self-growth. And because you don't even know what you're capable of until you try it, right? So since you're reading this message, since you're hearing this, it's still possible to be who you might have been, right? I mean, we can all say, well, I coulda, I shoulda, I woulda. Hey, you're still alive. You're still in the game. I had a friend once tell me that as a bit of wisdom when I was moaning about some exhaustion and tensions and other things going on in my life at the time. And she leaned forward and she put her hand on my arm and she said, hey, Scott, you're still in the game. You're still in it, man. Buck up. Let's go. Right. And that was a challenge that I needed, right? Since you're here, you've still got a chance, right? So get started. Get started by considering first, right? Who am I becoming? Who am I intentionally choosing to be? Right? And maybe that's a great question to, sometimes when we meet people, we say, what do you do? Right. And because we're trying to get a gauge on their background, maybe we should say, who are you becoming? That's a good challenge to ask some of our kids or our colleagues, who are you becoming? Because I'm actually saying, hey, wait, you're not becoming? Come on, let's go. You got to be becoming, because that's what life is, right? Who are you becoming? Another question is what am I helping them become? Right? How am I contributing to their growth? How am I pouring into them? Because I'm an educator. I'm not just a dispenser of curriculum. I am an enabler of dreams. That's what educators do, right? Curriculum, that's the easy part. I mean, I can now use all kinds of tech for curriculum, but for enabling dreams, for inspiring, for helping connect the dots, for sharing wisdom, right? That's where we have a distinct advantage. So even when we can't change our situation, and there's a lot of times where we can't, there's factors that are outside of our control, right? We may not be able to change our situation, but we do have the ability to change ourselves, to change our mindset, to change our beliefs, to change, what we know about things, to change our knowledge base, to change how we respond and how we use our words and our gifts, right? Listen, faith reveals potential. Our belief provides relief from the grief of disbelief, right? Our belief provides relief from the grief of disbelief. The challenge is persist in becoming this week, my friend. Don't let in. Persist in it, allowing yourself and them to grow beyond expectations, to grow beyond the boundaries, to become that what if, right? Listen, you get to become you. They get to become them. You get to be that faithful driver that says you can do this, even sometimes to yourself. But persistence means we don't give up. We keep going, and we exceed what we've previously believed was possible, what they previously believed that they could do, because of our encouragement, because we were there and we helped them pick themselves up and figure out a better way to stay in that cycle of learning. And we expanded our expectations, right? We gave ourselves and them the opportunity to grow, to become. Hey, a coaching question to ask yourself as you're going through this week at the end of each day: did I do my best to become today? Did I do my best to become today? Hey, love him and leave him, my friend. This is Scott.
Thank you for joining us for the Educators Among Us podcast and for your courageous commitment to this noble calling. We get you and the challenges of this work. To stay connected with this community, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and weekly encouragement at educatorsamongus.com.